I thought this was kind of a really funky looking card. I wanted to get some interesting design elements on this card, and what I did is I was looking at this piece here. I was really drawn to this triangle piece, and this is what we want to have for this card. What you need is to have this card base, the one with the little spots on it. You need to have a sentiment, one of the flowers, a couple of the little sprigs if you have any left over, and I do have a little bit left over, and we need to have a label. I'm going to be using the large label, so this one here, that one we're going to be using. Again, we need to do some die cutting, and the only thing I want to bring in again is that punch, and I'm going to be cutting out a piece from this cardstock here. Let's put these pieces off to the side and focus on this card piece right now. What I want to do is I want to get these triangles out of here. So I'm going to grab my trimmer. I'm going to fold this card in half. And I can see, I'm going to line up. I want to go along that angle again. So I'm going to cut there. Okay. Cut that off. I'm actually going to cut this in half. So I have two triangles. Okay, got one triangle going like this, and I'm going to flip this one over because I want the exact same, but I want it in white. Okay, or I can do it this way and that way. But this has a little bit of an edge on it. I could trim that off. Let's see how they go. Okay, so I have created these angle pieces. Let's bring in our card base. I'm going to fold that in half. Again, I'm going to lay my elements down just to make sure how they all come together. So I'm going to lay that label piece on the left-hand side. I don't know, for some reason this reminds me of 1970s. There we go. I guess, maybe the 80s. It reminds me of the 1980s. These two kind of like angled pieces like that. I think I want to have them up here like this. And I want to have them on an angle a little bit. So that kind of has that element right there. There we got the 2 points here. Okay, can place that over there. Now you notice if I make it flush with the left-hand side, there's a bit of a gap, but that's okay. This is kind of where I'm going to lay my flower, and it's going to hide that little piece of gap, or I can just tuck this in a little bit further. Okay, just like that. What I want to do is I want to get one of the sentiments, and I want to place it right about here. This is coming together. Got my ephemera packs, going to tuck this in behind a little bit. Again, splaying past the hollyhocks. Let's tuck it all in and see how it looks. Is there any portions that we could use? It looks like some of that will be lost, this one in particular, so let's cut him off. Boink. Okay. Because that is so useful, I could use that somewhere else. And it looks like the same for this one. That little one kind of gets lost. Let's kind of cut him off too. We will use him somewhere else. So this basically is how it's going to come together. I don't know about you. I can leave this just like that, or I can get a punch and I can create like a mat around that. So let's try that and see how that looks. Okay. I think that looks really nice. Okay. I have an idea of where all the elements are going to go, so let's get gluing. First of all, I'm going to take these aside, and I know that these triangle pieces are going to go right there. I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher. So it just barely clears the right-hand side up to the top. And I want to mimic that same direction and shape. There we go, bringing it back a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm going to add my little label behind it. You can see where it goes. Okay, glue that down. Now again, I'm going to be adding those little twigs on the back. And what I want to do is make sure that they are hidden behind the hollyhocks, but don't go further up than the card itself. Oh, come on. There we go. Lay that like that. I can see that's going to work. I'm actually just going to glue him down. I'm going to add one glue dot to keep him in place. I'm going to put the other one like this, because I know they're kind of converged behind that hollyhock. Place them together. And there we go. I'm going to add a couple of more dimensionals to the back of this hollyhock, lower down, just to make sure that it sticks. Okay, there we go. Add it right there. Now remember I had my sentiment. Those two I'm just going to glue together. I do still have those pieces that I cut off. I could have them come around like this, just kind of peeking out the edge. So this, it kind of makes a circle, and I think I'm going to do that. Whenever I create a card, I try and imagine the shapes, circles, the letter C, and stuff like that. I'm going to add those too, kind of tucking it in. I don't want it too far out, but I want it to kind of create a little circle. So I can kind of tuck that in right behind. That actually I think is going to look really nice, or I can place him on top. Personally, I think I like it on the inside. I'm going to glue him straight down. Tuck it in like that. Here we go. Add some embellishments. There we go. And that card is also finished. So I wanted to show you that even though you have a kit, you can make a variety of alternative cards. The thing is too, we also have so much left over from this kit that we can either create more cards with what we have left over. Just look at what you have and take a look. There's a great looking card there. Again, we can cut this off and use portions of it altogether. There's still a lot of the labels. I'm curious. I'd like to challenge you to see what you come up with the remainder of this kit. So that is such a fun kit. For 20 bucks, there is a lot to it. I think it looks great. I had a lot of fun with the kits. Don't forget to join me in July for our city sites, where we're going to make some amazing alternative cards with that set too. Until then, if you have any questions, northernstamper@gmail.com. I am Tina Kavergich, and thank you for joining me.